Grow 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by Huntworth and these other fine sponsors.
There's all sorts of challenges for these whitetails to make it over winter. In the Midwest and points north, our bucks, they've lost 25 to 30% body weight now over the rut. We're entering the seasonal low point for food, and they have to go ahead and withstand cold temperatures, snow depths, especially snow depths over 18 inches and temps below zero. All sorts of stuff are very, very, very hard on deer this time of year. Luckily, there are adaptations that they use to minimize these negativities. One is they reduce movement. The less you move, the less calories you burn. Remember, whitetails in almost every situation, except for way south, or sometimes under artificial feeding, whitetails are running a negative energy balance all winter long. They're burning more calories than they're taking in every single day. Okay, they're actually surviving on their fat reserves. Their fat reserves are providing over 50% of their nutrition over winter. Okay, your buds, your sticks, your dead weeds and grasses, they're getting very little nutritional value from that, but oftentimes it aids in the digestion of other foods, and it creates body heat, and it helps reduce their caloric burns to produce body heat. Okay, so they're reducing their movements to make it so they're burning less calories every single day. They're also shifting more of those movements away from the very coldest part of a 24-hour period. In the middle of the night and right away in the morning is very often the coldest part in that 24-hour period. So they shift, so they're bedded during those periods to go ahead and further conserve body heat. They are concentrating, generally speaking, either around prime food sources or in traditional overwintering yarding areas in the northern areas and areas where it really, really super nasty winters. That concentration effect then goes ahead and makes it so they don't have to expend as many calories busting their way through snow because other deer are doing it for them. And in certain situations, they can even take advantage of the body heat. Okay, talking about bodies, the farther north you go, generally speaking, the larger bodied that animal is. Your Canadian buck, he's going to be over 300, a mature Canadian buck's going to be over 300 pounds. Look at that same the same age buck down in Florida, you're looking at 150. The larger the body, the easier it is to heat each unit. The smaller the body, the easier it is to get rid of heat, which that's really important down south. Okay, then you're looking at that winter coat. That winter coat is so dangably thick and has both guard hairs and then for these Midwestern and northern whitetails, such a thick mat of underfur. That underfur is has so much insulative power that's why you're seeing deer walking around in the middle of snowstorms with snow on their back. It's not melting because that winter coat is so incredibly good at trapping heat. Lastly, their lower legs. You look at the lower legs of a whitetail, there's virtually no meat to it at all. It's all tendon. The bottom of their hooves are creatine, and then you're looking at bone and tendon. That bone and tendon doesn't shed heat, doesn't require heating anywhere near to the level that muscle mass does. And at the same time, it's riding them 18 inches above the snow. That cold from the snow isn't actually impacting them because it's all exposed to their legs, which doesn't take much body heat. You add it all up, and those whitetails are absolutely amazing creatures with all sorts of adaptations that allow them to survive nasty, nasty, brutal winters.
Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth.
Winters are nasty. Especially you get up to the northern states and Canada, mountainous regions, they are nasty. You're looking at a seasonal low point of food. Your mature bucks have lost 25 to 30% body weight, but you know what? Those does have 90 days worth of body fat on them. They can survive based on their body fat for 90 days alone. And then you throw in all these adaptations that these whitetails employ to minimize the strain, and that is how these whitetails are surviving out in the middle of the nastiest stuff you can imagine.